there. Hello and welcome to my weekly Wednesday live broadcast. I realize I did not come live last week. And to be honest, I can't really remember why. I think it was because I needed to scramble over to check on my fabulous dad, who is 95 years old and lives about a half an hour from me. And so I go visit him every day, and I try to make sure I can kind of work it around when I want to come talk to you. And last week got a little complicated. But I'm here this week, and I'm incredibly excited to continue to talk to you about what I'm calling my blueprint for creating a viable business online. And now is a great time to learn these new skills that I'm teaching, because we are living in a little bit of crazy times. And whenever it is feeling a little overwhelming for me, when I'm paying too much attention to what's happening in the outside world, which I don't have a lot of control over, I just try to do things where I can continue to teach myself new skills and continue to improve my brain. Because whatever I put up here into my brain, nobody can take away from me. And then if I learn new skills and then I implement those in my business, that is a win-win, right? And one of the things, excuse me, but one of the things that's been so amazing about having my own business is that I can control my time. I can control the way I spend my time. I can control who I spend my time with, and spending more time with my family, which is so important. And I can also run my business from pretty much anywhere because it's an online business. So let me make sure that I have my comments on and that I say hello to those of you who are joining me here. And hello there, Jean. We haven't seen you in a little while. Thank you so much for hopping on to say hello. I really appreciate it. And the one and only Pauline Riley is joining us. And you've done some beautiful updates to your profile photo. So that's a lovely photo of you, Pauline, watching from YouTube. And then I know you popped over onto Facebook as well, and that's another lovely picture of you. So thank you for joining me live. And if you're watching the recording, I get it. We're all busy. But I want to continue to tell you about my 6-part framework. So I am now calling it I have been calling it the Creative Business Blueprint. Because what better than to have a blueprint for how you can take your creativity and monetize it. And I had to reinvent myself. Now that seems like it was in the distant past, but it wasn't actually. It was when I got laid off from my corporate job in my late 50s. And I decided that, you know what, if I learned new skills and then applied them just slowly, step by step by step, I could take more control over my life, over my financial situation, and also how I spent my time and with whom I spent my time. And I wanted to share that with all of you because we are living in times that where we may feel like we have a lot less control than we would like. And whenever it's feeling chaotic or overwhelming, one of the first things I do is I turn off the news. I stop watching the news. I stop scrolling the news because it's usually always bad. But what I realized that is, instead of doing that, I can spend more time on my creativity. I can draw more. I can create more repeating patterns. I can re-record the courses that I have, or I can update them and offer new things so that you can continue to make progress in your creative journey as well. And I have been blogging now. I think I'm on blog 4 of the series that covers aspects of the blueprint, but there's also a downloadable version of it. And so for those of you who like to hold something in your hand and would like to print it out on your home computer and then put it into a binder, you can grab this guide at members.artwithann.com/spark. Because I think that this blueprint is your spark to take the next step in your creative business or to give yourself a bit of a spark if you've taken a break from your creative business. And I love the word spark because I think it's a very positive forward movement type of word. And so you can grab it, and Pauline will put it in the comments, but you can also just go to my website, AnnaFollettArt.com. So one of the things I like to do whenever I'm on with you guys is also just show you how easy it is to actually find me and find my resources. So first of all, let me just say hello to everyone again, and the fact I'm glad that I'm back this week because I know I missed seeing you last week. And I have a fabulous website that you can find at AnnaFollettArt.com. The spelling is in the bottom of the blue bar there. Don't put in those spaces. Just go to AnnaFollettArt.com and you land on a page that looks like this. And then the best thing to do is to check out my resources, which are all across the top. I have the blueprint. This is where you can grab the guide that I've been talking about. I have various courses, and you can get on the wait list for these courses. If you're already in one of my courses, you can log in by clicking this login button. And then I have a bunch of other resources under this resource button. It's like the tech tools that I use, as well as other analog tools like paintbrushes and markers and fine liners that I love to use. Those are all listed under resources. My shop is where you can go and purchase some of my own surface pattern designs. And then this is where you can actually hear all about different students who have taken my programs and what they had to say about them. So it's always good for you to check out the resources that are right up here at the top, right? These are this is the menu bar. And then what I've also done just to make it easy for you to find my Creative Business Spark guide is I've put a big banner right here in the middle. And so if you click this red button to grab it, it's free. All you need to do is give me your email and then click the submit button, and then you will get it in your email. And so it's very easy to find right here. It's also easy to find it up here because this is my free ebook, the Creative Business Spark Guide. Or you can come to the blog, and then I've been writing about it for the last several weeks. And so we're actually on the fourth part of my framework, right? My Creative Business Framework, which is all about offers. So now that you know where to find it, and you can also go to members.artwithann.com/spark, SPARK, Spark. You can download it there as well by going to that URL. And one of the great things about this framework is I had to reinvent myself when I lost my corporate job. And so many people are getting laid off right now. If you have a government job, you're getting laid off. Even if you don't have a government job, everyone's very, very worried about the fact that there might be a big downturn in the economy because of tariffs and the knock-on effect of tariffs, which could raise inflation and also lead to a bunch of slowdown in the economy and more layoffs. And I am here to let you know that I didn't get laid off during this craziness. I got laid off actually almost 15 years ago now. But there are always times in this, sort of in the economic cycle when a lot of layoffs happen. And it's so important to be resilient. No matter what age you are, it's really, really important to be resilient. And I know that because you're in my creative community, that you are resilient. You're also very creative, and you also are action takers. And I think you believe my ethos, which is that the more you learn new skills and apply them, you put them to work for you, the better off you're going to be. And the more you put into your head, the less people can take away from you, because that's knowledge you will always have and you can always apply. So in my 6-part framework, I've been covering it every single week. So you can go back to AnnaFollettArt.com/blog and read the past blogs if you have missed them, or you can download the whole Spark Guide, because the whole Spark Guide covers the 6-part framework. And this week we're talking about offers. And so I thought I'd spend a couple of minutes talking about offers, and then I would jump in to see if you have any questions for me. So as you listen, if you have questions, pop them into the comments, and then I will take a look at that in just, after I cover kind of the core material that I wanted to share with you today. This is otherwise known as the teaching segment of today's broadcast. So let's just talk about offers. And what is an offer? Because I think it's very important to know that an offer is anything that you either are offering for free or are asking people to actually pay you for. So it could be digital downloads. You may be on people's email list where you get a beautiful photo that you can put, or piece of art that you can put on your phone or on your desktop. That's a very popular way to showcase your art and provide it to people in exchange for them coming on your email list. That's an offer. It's a free offer. Other digital downloads are fantastic. And Jean, I know you're here, and so you may still be doing this, and maybe this part of your business has grown, where you're offering coloring book pages. And the coloring book business is a very big business. And so if you like to create beautiful art that is, maybe it's in a particular theme that you love, and then you upload those so that people can actually access them either through Amazon, or they can get them through your website if you have a website. That's a digital download. And you could ask people to pay you a little bit of money for them, or you could provide them free. And again, that's another way for you to grow your email list, but that's an offer. An online course is an offer. A workshop is an offer. So there, you may be seeing in your news feed, if you're on Facebook quite a bit, you may notice, and also on Instagram, you may notice that people have a lot of offers these days. They've got workshop offers. They have, sometimes they're free and sometimes they're paid. They also have boot camps, and sometimes those boot camps are paid, and sometimes they're free. Then also frequently people are offering courses, or they're offering 3-day events. Come to my 3-day event and I'll teach you all about what it is that I've been successful doing so that you can learn how to do it too. So I think right now, this morning, I saw that Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins are going to do another 3-day event soon to talk about how in times like this, you want to create what they call your own economy. And when you create your own business, you are creating your own economy. And as a result, you have a lot more control because it's your own economy. And that economy is both what you provide for free and what you ask people to pay for, which are offers. You could also do mentorships or coaching, right? Those are offers. In-person paint parties are offers. So offers are all around us. And you're exposed to offers all the time. So if you're a Netflix user, you get fed a new Netflix movie to watch. That's an offer. And it's usually got a little trailer associated with it to create some anticipation and some excitement around it, right? So I think what's very important is to start as simply as possible when you're getting started with your creative business, because you want to get some traction in the early days. And so when I started, and this was now 7 years ago, when I got started, I was learning how to be a surface pattern designer. I love wrapping paper. And so wrapping paper has always been one of the kind of cornerstones of my surface design business, because I am the type of person who at Christmas time wants to put every present under the tree in a different paper. I don't know if you are like that or not. Tell me in the comments if you're like that too, where you love to have different wrapping papers because it makes it so beautiful under the tree with a different ribbon as well. And so when I first got it started and I was learning how to do these repeating patterns, it was like, oh, the best possible product for me to create is wrapping paper because I know I'm going to use them. And I'll also be able to gift them to friends and family and also sell them at craft fairs. But given the fact that I also have a retail background, because I worked in retail in my corporate job for 30 years, I also know that you want to offer more than one thing. You want to have a little bit of a mini bundle, right? A little bundle of products. And so I had 5 little products that I sold initially and that I still sell. Mugs, like there's one right here. That's my cute little, that's like a pink one. Mugs, tote bags, wrapping paper, greeting cards, and notebooks that have my designs on the covers. And that was actually a really perfect like capsule. It's kind of like a merchandising capsule because all those products go really well together, and you can also bundle them. And one of the things I talk about in more detail in my blog, if you go to annafollettart.com/blog, you'll see in this week's blog that I talk about this whole retail concept called units per transaction. So hang with me for a minute. That might sound complicated, but it actually is really simple. And it goes by the initials UPT for units per transaction. And all it means is how many items did someone put in their basket when they came to check out. And you want to try to get someone to buy 2 things or 3 things if it makes sense for them. You're not pushing them to do so, but if it makes sense for what they're going to use them for. If you bundle items, the price is higher because you're providing them with a discount because they're getting multiples, but the transaction size is bigger, right? So what I did is I would do, for example, a 3-pack of my notebooks. And so they'd either have 3 that were totally different from each other. So that was really, really nice. And then, of course, they could unbundle them and give them as gifts to friends if they wanted. Or it just meant that they had 3 and they could use all 3 of them themselves over time, but they had a slightly different design on the cover. I also did that with, I bundled 3 items together with a tote bag and a notebook and a cup, because I thought that was a really great gift for someone. It's a great gift for a new neighbor. So the new neighbor might need to join you for a cup of coffee. And what better thing to do than to have their coffee in one of your mugs that have your designs on them. They might be new to the neighborhood, and so they want to start to take notes about where the dry cleaners is, and also who's got who loves or where is the favorite bakery, or they just might want to take notes about their house because maybe they're trying to decide what they might want to be doing some redecorating after they've lived in the house for a while. And then a tote bag is always great because everyone wants to have a tote bag when they go to the grocery store so that you don't have to pay for a bag. So those are just a couple of ideas of how you can really start to think like a retail business by having things bundled. So that's important because it both drives a larger transaction size, but it also sort of helps your customer realize that they can utilize these items together. And I think that's a really, really good concept. So whether you want to sell physical products or digital products or courses or memberships, it's really important for you to ask yourself like 3 questions about them. And on the blog, there's also a downloadable worksheet for you for each one of the phases of my framework, right? For each part of this blueprint. And so the first question is, you want to make sure that whatever you're offering is going to actually address the need of your customer base, right? And that could be your community that lives near you, or that could be an online community if you've started to build one already. But that's a good question for you to ask yourself, right? What are you offering and how does it meet their needs? Then question number 2 is, how can you make your offer more compelling or irresistible? And this is really important. So if you're multitasking, come back to me. Don't discount. I really, really do not believe in discounting. And the reason is because I worked for the Gap for years and they just discounted themselves into the basement. Everything is always on sale. And so it's a race to the bottom. When you start to discount whatever it is you're selling, it's a race to the bottom because people are always going to want a discount, and then that discount stops working, and then you got to discount it again, and then it's a race to the bottom. And so there are better ways to create a compelling offer than discounting. It's actually offering something more valuable, something in addition to what they would be getting. So you could have a gift with a purchase. So they buy something and then you give them something for free. So maybe you give them a couple of free greeting cards when they buy a whole series of your wrapping papers. So you want to think, what can I do that's actually going to surprise and delight them, as opposed to discounting? And a couple of other ideas would be, maybe there's some special access. So if you sell downloadable coloring book sheets, maybe you want to have, from time to time, you want to do an online workshop where you fill them in community with others. You could do that in person, or you could do that online. But maybe that's an extra. It's like, when you download my coloring book sheets, I will also just offer you this opportunity to come and let's fill them in together and do this in community. So that's an extra, right? The other thing could be something that is, if something that someone's buying is going to actually require some additional information for them to use it properly. So maybe you have a beautiful design and you want people to frame it. So they purchase the beautiful design, maybe either framed or not framed. And then as an added bonus, as an added sort of surprise and delight, you show them how to ensure that they are actually putting it into the frame properly, or they're picking the right frame, maybe with a couple of different concepts around these are some frame ideas for you to help you make the right decision for you to how you want to frame it. If they're going to be printing it at home, you definitely want to include printing instructions, right? So that they are going to print it out on the right type of paper. They're then going to ensure that it is going to last for a very long time. And so those are the extras, right? Those are sort of the benefits and the extras you can provide along with your offer as a surprise and delight. And so the whole concept I'm trying to get across here is don't discount. Think the opposite. Think how you can surprise and delight with something extra that will be very valuable and make them appreciate the purchase that they made so much more and recommend you to others, right? And then the other thing is too, how does your first offer lead into the next thing that they might be interested in? So if they love coloring books, maybe the next thing they want to do is be in a coloring book membership. Or if you're offering a beginner course, maybe once they've finished the beginner course, you want to offer them an intermediate course on whatever the topic happens to be. So that is the third question that I want you to ask yourself. So what questions do you have? Let me see if I can find my window with the... So Art by Karen says, I like doing that too. Fantastic. Love it. And Jean likes the name Spark. Great word. It jolts you forward, especially if you're timid about dipping your toe in the water. Yep, exactly. And so hopefully that was helpful. I'd like to come on Wednesdays to talk to you for about 25 minutes, and we're just about at 25 minutes right now. So I'm going to let you go because we are all, I know, very, very busy. But here's the thing that I'd like to leave you with today. First of all, if you don't have my blueprint, please go grab it because it's free, and you can get it on my website at annlafollettart.com. You'll see it right up at the top in the announcement bar. And then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the big banner that talks about my Creative Business Spark guide. And it's free, so you just click the link in order to get it. Or you can go directly to the page where you would give me your email and your name and your email. And that link, which I think Pauline is putting into the chat, is members.artwithanne.com/spark. So enjoy. I really appreciate you all being here. And if you're watching the replay, I hope you've enjoyed it as well. And remember, I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette. And it's never too late to create. Bye for now, and I'll see you next week.